Welcome to Gracefully Graying. I am your host, Attorney Henry Gornbein. Today on Gracefully Graying, I am very pleased to welcome as my guest Jacqueline Drake, who is the Director of Creative and Immersive Therapies at the Drake Center and also the host of her own uh, video show, which we'll be talking about as part of this telecast. So, Jacqueline, welcome. First of all,
Oh,
why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about who you are and your background?
I'd love to, actually. Yeah, well, first of all, Henry, thank you so much for asking me to be on. It's kind of neat being on the other side of the interview process. So thank you. And yeah, I'm excited to share with your viewers a little bit about what we do at the Drake Center and a little bit of what I do in the process of that. And what I mean by that is we do a lot of different kind of therapies. So first of all, my name is Jacqueline Drake, and I am the Director of Creative and Immersive Therapies at the Drake Center. And the Drake Center is a space that we've built. It's an incredible healing center. And about 5 years ago, and this is part of my story as well, and it's out there, so I've talked about it on my own shows and some other interviews. But we built this practice shortly after I had closed my art gallery in Franklin and in Franklin, Michigan. And so a lot of your viewers actually might remember me as I had an art gallery in Franklin, and well, it was quite the space. I had open mic poetry nights and open mic music nights, but I also had a lot of art and a lot of healing um, programs and events all the time, lots of classes. And I taught a lot of mindfulness and a lot of meditation with my art. I do a lot of that still with the Drake Center now. But after I closed my art gallery, which was in 2020 because of pandemic and all sorts of other life stressors. Obviously, it was the beginning of COVID, so everybody was a little stressed out. I decided to really kind of figure myself out a little bit more. Obviously, the closure of my own art gallery, and it was winning awards. I was winning awards for my own art. And when I closed, it was, well, you can imagine, it was pretty heartbreaking. And so I had to figure out how to get out of my own kind of depression in that aspect. And then through that, I started using my own therapies that I introduce people to every day now at the Drake Center. And part of it was virtual reality. And it's funny, it's really actually kind of interesting. A lot of people don't recognize me now. And I have a lot of people go, what? Who is that? I've lost 100 pounds in the building of obviously the closure of my own art gallery, but also building up into the Drake Center. In that process, I took my own kind of medicine, as they say, and started to work on my own mindset. And that led me into VR fitness and kind of circulated it into everything else. And it's really amazing because it's one of the many tools that we use at the Drake Center. And the Drake Center is a space where we treat mental health, we treat anxiety, and we treat depression and PTSD. And using all these different modalities of healing and therapies, it's a pretty incredible place. So thank you so much for having me on because there's a lot we could talk about. So I'm excited.
Jacqueline, where is the Drake Center?
Yeah, the Drake Center, it's right in downtown Franklin. And if any of your viewers are familiar with downtown Franklin, it's right along the park. So, you know, Henry, the coolest part of this whole story, I think, for me, even building up the Drake Center and then closing the gallery, we are back into that building now, into the building, the space, this beautiful, right in downtown Franklin. So it's right along the park. It's right next to the library. And it's right along the Village Green. And so it's a really peaceful, beautiful space. It was a wonderful space for a healing art center. And it's now a wonderful space for a healing center. And our patients come from all over the world for our treatments. So it's been an incredible space to have them come into a beautiful, relaxing space. But it's right downtown Franklin. Literally the crossroads are Franklin Road and Wellington. So we're right on the corner.
Jacqueline, tell us about the approach that you call the way of the butterfly. I
Yeah.
like that name. In fact, my wife happens to love butterflies. We actually have a
Oh,
butterfly decal on the back of one of our cars. So,
oh my goodness. Well, like minded, like spirits, right? Well, the way the butterfly kind of came out in a way to describe our way of healing. In the process of what we do at the Drake Center, we use a psychedelic medication, first of all. So my husband is an emergency room physician, and he has been for oh goodness, over 30 years. And he was also medical director of Henry Ford Hospital for many years. When I opened up my own Healing Arts Center, he retired out of emergency medicine at that point. And of course, after I closed, we decided to rebuild something incredibly cool. And we both have had a huge passion for alternative and more holistic healing. Even with our backgrounds in the medical field, there was still this desire to help people differently, right? Our medicine and the way we have our medicine world set up, we can help people to a certain extent. And then there's another level of healing that does have to happen for full healing, I like to think. And that's really what the Drake Center is. And so we like to explain the way of the butterfly is an all-encompassing way of how we describe the way we do healing. A lot of our patients have an experience. A lot of our patients have an experience within their medication treatments. And if within that experience, and we use ketamine, with that experience, they end up having these beautiful, and if not life-changing, changing perspectives on things. And so when that happens, we do a lot of things called integration, which is really, okay, since you've had this experience, how does this affect your daily life? And where can we put this into your daily life to change it? For instance, when patients, let's say, come to us for anxiety, depression, and they really get an actual feeling of feeling safe in the moment, or feeling, obviously for PTSD, similar, they feel like it's not happening to them at that moment. Because with PTSD and anxiety and depression, there's a lot of, we're not in our own headspace, right? We're usually, if the anxiety thoughts, we're so far in the future. Depression, we're so far in the past. And so, and with PTSD, we're just right in it, right? So, or living in the past with it. And so a lot of times this becomes a way of describing what happens to our minds. We also think of the way the butterfly is all of the different modalities of healing that we use. I use a lot of immersive therapies. I do a lot of life coaching now, and including all the art therapy stuff that I work with our patients as well. So I like to think of the way the butterfly is the lifestyle part of really using all of these different healing modalities and making it a part of your life. And we like to, like you said about the butterfly, there's something about that. Butterflies represent, transformation. And when I created our original logo, it was a blue butterfly representing the blue morpho butterfly, really, and that represents the largest amount of healing possible. And it's true. Our patients really do go under, I think they would all agree that they go under some sort of metamorphosis or transformation. They start to think differently. They start to feel different. They start to just be different in their lives, making better decisions, paying attention to where their thoughts are. And when you start doing all that, real change starts to happen. And it all starts with, our integration processes, which is part of the way of the butterfly.
Can you share some of the other modalities that you use at the Drake Center?
Yeah, for sure. My favorite thing, of course, is art. I use a lot of art therapy with our patients. Even when I had my art gallery, which was the Healing Arts Center, I would do a lot of one-on-ones and lots of group therapy stuff too, which was incredible. And so now I feel like I'm still having that piece of being able to help people creatively. What I find is that a lot of times with this, of course, our patients get to create with me their psychedelic experience. And sometimes I'll even have them create it in virtual reality. And Henry, I don't know if you've ever put a virtual reality headset on, but maybe you can come on my show and I'll put you in it for a trial. But just to try it, because it's pretty amazing. But creating in virtual reality space is a whole nother level. Is crazy cool. So a lot of times I'll put a headset on with my patients, and then I'll put one on them, and then we drop into a virtual space together and recreate some of their experiences out. And that's just magical. And it becomes a really cool thing. They also paint on canvas, of course, and all sorts of other different activities.
Tell us about immersive wellness. You alluded to it, but why don't you describe it in a little more detail now, Jacqueline?
Yeah, so that's it's interesting because it's almost like one of those stories where I had to try it to believe it, or believe it to try it, and a long time ago, about 2018, 2019, when I started to really play with the technology. And even back then, it was still connected really to a computer, so you couldn't really do much moving
Here's what
around
I
in it.
found.
And so, literally, when I decided to, um, let's say, get myself some help, right? And we're talking when I decided I needed some mental lifting and mental even meditation in it. I found it because I was already starting to use the headset to show people in my gallery different ways to meditate, right? I taught meditation. So a lot of times people would say to me, Jacqueline, I can't meditate. That's not for me. I can't settle my mind. I just can't settle. And I'd say, well, it's a little bit different if I put you inside of gratitude. It's one thing for me to guide you into it, but it's a whole other thing for me to put you inside of it and suddenly you're inside of gratitude or forgiveness or whatever it is that you need in that moment. And so that's kind of how my journey started into this, was using it for art and using the device for meditation. And the reality was, virtual reality had been around a lot longer than, I call it, the gamers got a hold of it. But
Sorry, still not
and
sure
that
about
part is that part is still fine, that the gamers got it, because now we have so many incredible apps now that are for wellness and fitness now, which has been amazing to be a part of and kind of watch grow actually in this space. So I use the virtual reality with our patients. I show them different ways to meditate. Sometimes, when they come in for treatment, I have to really settle them down. A lot of life happens, between their treatments, and they go into their headspace, literally within themselves, and find those answers that they're looking for. And it's really important to use virtual reality as a tool to calm them down, to center them before they go into their treatment. So that's one way that we use it. For myself, I used it for my own meditation when I was feeling a little down when I closed my gallery. And knowing how it works on the mind, I thought, well, shoot, if I'm using this cognitive wellness machine, because it's all about how you react inside of it and what you feel like when you're inside of these immersive spaces. Your mind doesn't know the difference. Your subconscious mind doesn't really know the difference. So you're in it. You feel like you're in it. And there's many, many studies done. I've actually talked about this several times on my show. Different studies that have come out over the years. And it acts even as a pain reducer. So a lot of times I tell people not to go crazy in there, especially when they get excited about the VR fitness part. So there's this other part, Henry, that I lost 100 pounds working out in it. Once I knew how it could work on my mindset. And then I thought, well, shoot, what if I could move in this device, this cognitive wellness machine? And then I started seeking out different movement. And at that point, the device went now wireless, and now we are free to move around the room. And well, I ended up losing 100 pounds dancing in my living room during COVID. And a lot of people call it VR fitness, and I still call it dancing, and that's kind of my thing. Because once you really understand how it's made, you're hitting notes, you're punching notes, whatever it is, but it really is dancing. And like I said, I've lost 100 pounds dancing in virtual reality fitness. And that's kind of how my journey, yeah. And so now, so once my patients get feeling better, I lead them into VR fitness. They follow me, and sometimes I work out with them. We have workout parties, dance parties, and it's been an amazing journey with all of the technology that we have now for this.
You created a cable television show, Immersive Wellness.
Yeah.
You're the host of this. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? And I've noticed, looking at your videos, you must do them at the studio because everyone's wearing headsets. So, or the immersive.
Yeah. And that's I think I would love to have you in. I think on my show next. I think I'll have you in. Have you ever worn a headset at all? Have you?
I've worn headsets for doing cable and for shows, yes. So I'm not adverse to it at all.
Okay. This is where you go inside of it and you actually look around and you're in different spaces. For instance, when I work out, sometimes I'm on top of a mountaintop, or sometimes I'm in front of pyramids or in the Galapagos. I mean, it is one extreme to the next. And it really does make a difference what you are inside of. I talk a lot about this on my show. because there's a lot of, I call it bad VR out there too. So I tell people to kind of walk away from stuff that, because it is, you're putting something on your head, right? And so when you're in that space, what I see and what I hear is really influential on your headspace. And so it's really important to make sure, especially like some of the programs that are out there, that there's many out there that are so incredible for the mind. Lots of meditation apps. Part of my show is I actually interview a lot of VR developers. I work with a lot of developers as well. And so, and have for many years now. And so I have some of those developers on the show. I interview my patients on my show that have followed me. I actually just, I just recorded one not too long ago where I had a 71-year-old gentleman that came to us to the Drake Center, and he was, came to us for depression and a little anxiety. And once he started feeling better in his mental space. He said, Jack, I kind of want to get moving a little bit. And I said, well, do I have something for you? So, and literally he has lost, I don't even know how many pounds now, but the reality of him is his fitness. His overall fitness is, for 71 years old, he is like this ripped man now. His wife just keeps thanking me. So there is that. I mean, it's amazing the amount of physical exercise that can happen within these headsets. And it's magical. There's no other word for it. I do a lot of meditation in it as well. In fact, I just worked with Fun Fitland on a moving meditation, which is a movement that has never been done in virtual reality. And it's something that I had been thinking about and dreaming about. And one of the companies that I've been working with have literally, we built it, and it's amazing. Imagine moving in, well, actually, I'll have to show it to you guys. But imagine moving with just like trails of light, basically, that you're moving in. And at the same time, you're listening to a beautiful meditation being talked to you. And you're just moving really gently. And with the controllers, there's this other thing called haptics that happen. And so vibrations can happen. And so you actually feel like you're actually in it. And it's a beautifully done meditation. And so that's one thing that I'm really excited about showing actually on my show as well, is moving meditations in this, because that's another level of, it's a beautiful fitness, but it's also really incredible for the mind, right? And so I'll do a really hard workout, and then maybe I'll go do a moving meditation and just allow my body to stretch. It's more like a yoga. I like to call it vertical yoga. You're kind of like stretching and moving at the same time. I also have a YouTube channel where all my videos do go for the ones that I film here in my home studio, my home art studio, which I do have a green screen, and I make a lot of videos for some of these different apps that I like to represent and also build their communities with. So I make a lot of videos on my YouTube channel, and I talk about the mind and body connection that happens when we're in these immersive spaces. Because a lot's happening with your mind. You're putting something on your head to take you somewhere else. And then at the same time, your body is moving to different beats or music or even frequency healing. The healing meditation that we've built recently, the moving meditation, is built in healing frequencies. And so imagine listening to a beautiful meditation at the same time you're moving, like, and just stretching your body in these beautiful environments too that you're in. At the same time, the tones, the vibrations, the frequencies that you're listening to also help all sorts of different repair. So on your immune system, everything from heart repair, all sorts of stuff. So it's beautiful. So it's been an incredible thing to introduce people to, really.
Are you using AI at all? I mean,
No.
But
No.
what's interesting, what you're doing, my wife goes to a dentist who's starting to do a lot of state of the art. And when people are going through procedures that are lying back, and he has a TV screen mounted above, so that people can be either watching movies or shows. And so it's almost like creating a virtual reality while you're going to the dentist.
And the other thing too, speaking of dentists, I actually I have a few dentists that have reached out to me. I do a lot of consulting for different medical groups, but OBGYNs are wanting to use it as well, and then also dentists. And actually the dentist, I actually have we can share that picture too. There's a a wonderful a wonderful app that I used on my last dental cleaning, believe it or not. So I put the headset on when I had my last cleaning done at my own dentist, and I really wanted to see how comfortable the chair would be with wearing this thing before I really pushed it with the dentist offices to use it. And believe it or not, it was this amazing experience. I actually had a meditation on that I was in, and I was kind of like inside of like a dome, I guess. Some sort of like little glass dome is what I was in my immersive experience. And it was raining, and so and it was a meditation, so it was just really beautiful. But at the same time, I was getting my teeth cleaned, and so the sensory experience of feeling water falling on you and then spraying in your mouth at the same time was absolutely absurd and really incredible at the same time. And so that's how powerful it is. Your mind doesn't know the difference. And so when you're in these spaces, and I talk about this a lot, you literally feel like you're transported to some of these spaces. I meet my patients in virtual spaces. And even Henry, I have built a whole bunch of spaces in there for not only my own art, I have built a platform and a cross platform. I call it the cross platform basically for not only art, but I meet my patients in there. So when I closed my real art gallery, I needed a space for my people to see my art still. And so I built a digital space that you can actually walk into and actually be inside of a gallery of my art. And so that's kind of, the art part of VR for me. To me, it's all art. The whole thing is art. So to me, it's just another tool for me to play with and for me to create with, really. The other thing about, I know I have a children's book out that's right now, that's out, and it's about mindfulness, and it's an incredible book. But the most magical part about it is that I didn't make it for paper first. The paper actually just came out, like an actual book form. When I built this book, I built it digitally, meaning I actually hand painted it digitally with, let's say, like an Apple Pencil, and painted it. And then once it was digital, I thought, well, shoot, where's my book going to live? It lives digitally. So then I built a platform for it to be able to walk into the pages of my book. And so if
Jacqueline,
you
what
put
is
a
your book
headset
called?
on, my book is called Morphe's Mindful Journey, and it's part of the Way of the Butterfly series. And so it's just another piece to all the things that we offer at the Drake Center. But this book is really the story of a little caterpillar that goes on a mindful journey, and he has to use all of his mindfulness practices and a little creativity to get out of his troubles. And along the way, it's just this beautiful, sweet story. And actually, I'll be reading it on Saturday at the Franklin Library for my first public reading, so that's pretty exciting. But here's the soft cover version of it, and then I have the hardcover. But like I said, it originally started digitally, and last year for my 50th birthday, my husband worked with a publisher and surprised me and got it out of the metaverse and literally got it into book form. And now it's available for everyone to see, and there's digital download as well available. So, but it's been quite the process of this little book. So
Oh,
it's
that's a
not a
wonderful
normal
book.
book, and I'll bring probably my headset into the library and actually have the kids walk into it and actually put them inside of the book, which that's a different, it's just different, Henry. I can't explain it, but I can't
Well,
wait to show you that for sure.
that was a wonderful gift from your husband. Let me jump back. And how does VR fitness and wellness become tailored for all ages, and especially since this
Mm,
is gracefully graying, aimed at demographics really 50 and over? Uh,
yeah,
how does that fit, especially the older
it
adults?
is so incredible actually for the aging minds. Most of the communities that I've built up with some of these VR fitness groups, I will say the ages are definitely, I would say, 40 and up, 1,000%. Majority, in fact, Henry, in fact, my own children who are 21 and 16 or 17 now, they tell me that VR fitness is for old people. So to me, it's the most incredible thing because one, you can do it from your home. Two, you don't have to go to a gym to do it. And the reality is, you just You can do it anywhere. You can do it in your home. You can do it sitting. You can do it standing. And there's so many different programs now. And there's also many different ways you can like make it so it's one armed or two armed. But the reality is, when you use this, though, it's how it works on our mind, our aging minds, especially. There's a lot of programs that, for hand-eye coordination purposes alone. There's a lot of things for balance in there. Like I said, I was telling you about a moving meditation. I highly recommend that one to a lot of our elderly patients that we have. Our oldest patient at the Drake Center was 84, and my youngest one was 15. So that's the age limits of our group. We really, it's an incredible medication for many different people. But we do a lot of screenings, and if the person is able to take it and be able to get through, the actual treatments, then of course they start to feel better in their mind space, and then they all follow me into VR. A lot of times people get it for meditation purposes. So even if they're not ready for, let's say, fitness and getting all sweaty and boxing or whatever it may be, there's a million different things. But even if they're not ready for that, there's plenty of other things to do in virtual reality. You can watch movies. You can do all sorts of things. You can meet with your friends. Many, many games too that are geared. Actually, there's a wonderful program called Alcove that I do use, and it's literally sponsored by AARP. So it is an amazing group that literally, it's all sorts of different mind and body type games that you are using either hand-eye coordination, or you're doing some sort of matching game, but there's a lot to it. So it is incredible for an aging mind. I put my grandma into it at the time. She was 98, and she loved it. She absolutely loved it. I put her in a spinny chair, and I put her inside of a coloring book, Henry. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being 98 years old and literally going inside of a coloring book? Her heart, and she just was so excited. I think I even have her on video doing it, but she literally was just tapping things and coloring, but she was inside of a coloring book. And what that does to your mind is just incredible.
Your creativity and enthusiasm are amazing. We're running out of time. Before we sign off, our final thoughts that you'd like to share with our viewers in the next half minute or so.
Yeah, I think if anything is just to try different things. As we age, we kind of get set in our ways. I know I did. Like I said, I lost 100 pounds just by dancing. Not once would I tell you to do this for your workout for your body. No. VR fitness, VR wellness is all about the mind. You're putting something on your head. That's what I tell everybody. And if you need some advice, or if you need even know where to start, please reach out to me. And you can find me, like I said, I have a YouTube channel. I have a new immersive wellness show. I also have a new book reading coming out. And so hopefully I'll start showing my work a lot more, especially with Morphe's Mindful Journey. So people can find me. I would love to help you get started on any sort of wellness journey. And
we're out of time now, Jacqueline Drake. I want to thank you so much for being.
Well, thank you so much.
Gracefully Graying. I mean, your creativity and what talent is amazing. I want to thank our viewers for watching, and of course, I want to thank Bloomfield Cable and our sponsors, of course. Thank you again.